Hello, live on the World Wide Web, bringing another Wellness Wednesday free pro bono video to you, bringing some self healing to the masses. I'm Shannon Myers. I'm a certified rehabilitation counselor. Nobody knows what that is. We are holistic counselors that are dual side clinicians working with employers or healthcare and also individuals, families, and systems. I am a research fellow at the Harkin Institute. I sometimes am a professor at Drake University if they need a sub. And I am the founder of the Paleo Counselor and Shannon Myers Consulting LLC, which is a small boutique uh, integrative health coaching and consultancy agency ran by me and quite honestly my family for free labor. Um, so I'm going to bring the reason that I left my safe job with a pension and a paycheck that came every 2 weeks was to bring self healing to the masses, to talk about root causes, link everything together for individuals and populations, share some of the research and work that I've been doing. I've had my business for the last 7 years, but I've never talked about or shared the work that I've been doing. And I want to get information out there so that you can heal yourself and get on living your life to have more quality of life and wholeness. Sometimes we go after all these goals and we hustle hard and we keep doing all the things that we're told that we should do. And we end up in burnout and breaking down and with anxious symptoms. I keep using the word symptoms because I am of the belief that everything is a symptom of something with a root cause that should be explained to you, that you should know, that you can address so that you can heal yourself. So I'm trying to demystify mental and physical health by integrating. I'm an integrative practitioner, meaning bridging the traditional medical model to other healing practices and modality, and integrating truly mind, body, and spirit for wholeness within the individual and families and systems. Quite honestly, it can be anxiety invoking just undergoing a wellness habits, because when you start digging into it, you're like, oh my gosh, there's a lot here, and there is a lot of opportunity here. And the number one thing that I'm going to tell you is trust yourself, trust your intuition, trust your gut. The next move that is calling out to you is the one that's calling out to you. If it's food, if it's sleep, if it's getting rid of toxic relationships, if it's putting boundaries in place, if it's moving a new job, that for you is going to keep coming back around, and you're going to be pretty aware, and you're going to have to start listening to yourself. And so that's my number one thing is don't listen to anyone but yourself, including me. So shut this off and go on your way. No, we have outsourced our power to self-heal to individuals in white coats that spend an average of 7 minutes with us. And it's not that the medical model is evil or bad. It's just they don't know who you are. You are the expert in yourself. That is the framework in which I work with clients, meaning they're the expert in themselves. I am a fellow human walking alongside of them for a short leg of their journey to um, assisting them to get unstuck, to putting together self-healing tools, gathering other practitioners if we need to integrate their whole experience and health conditions. I have a lot of individuals that come to me. They have um, they're either holistic or alternative already of that mindset, and that's just kind of where they've landed, and they only use the traditional medical model when needed. Or I work with individuals that have many practitioners, but they don't really have one that's putting all of everything together for them. And so that's really where I work. I'm only interested on the root causes, so I don't diagnose. I look at the symptoms because there's symptoms are just symptoms, and it's not anything to get attached to. Uh, but they can all be resolved. So first, the first thing is with anxiety is some of anxiety is normal, and anxiety has been an emotion or a symptom that has kept humans safe since the beginning of time, since for millennia. We used to have tigers and bears that were in our environments, and anxiety kept us and our families alive in our hunter and gatherer societies. That's where the paleo name comes from ancient societies, so bringing some of that back with innovation. So some of anxiety is normal, and normal level of anxiety would be, I'm starting a new job. I'm very anxious for that. I'm going on a first date with someone. I am um, pregnant and becoming a mother. These unknown scenarios are anxiety invoking for everyone, and it's normal. And to be able to sit with anxiety, uh, a lot of times when we are younger, and it's no fault of those that are around us at a young age, but when we're younger, we weren't really taught to sit with our emotions and to feel our feelings. So maybe you were told from a very young age to, you're strong, suck it up, uh, we're tough. And that could be your programming into your subconscious, meaning don't feel this, oh, it's a scary feeling. And to never have sat with anxiety and to realize, okay, I can actually live through this. Spoiler alert, you can live through anything. Everything is temporary. Even the world's worst panic attack will let up at some point. And however, our brains do not tell us that as we're having a panic attack. We feel like this is going to go on forever. So the more that you can get in your body and to sit with anxiety and feel what it feels like, to normalize it, not to become the story that your scared brain is creating, but to be able to feel it. What does anxiety feel like? Where does it arise from? What does that feel like? Could you put your awareness or breath or mind, a mind body practice in place that can honor anxiety? What I see 100% of the time is anxiety has a root in a trauma or a negative experience. With 100% of clients, and this is proven in research, there's a conference that happened a couple months ago, a big mental health conference that said 100% of mental health symptoms have a root in trauma or parasympathetic nervous system dysregulation, that rest and digest. And so when we are heightened and our breath is in our chest or in our throats, and we cannot restore at the cellular level or regulate ourselves, this is brings about a symptom of anxiety, which is, it's telling you, the symptom of anxiety is telling you, breathe, breathe deep into the belly. You are not restoring your whole system. This whole thing works together as a symphony. And anxiety could be the oboe that's a little out of tune in the woodwind section. For any of my band nerds out there, know what that means. So it might be a symptom that's out of tune. Trauma is another one, um, not unexpressed trauma. And so when another situation occurs, we that is similar to the trauma or anywhere near that, our awareness says, oh boy, you need to be aware of this and be anxious. We are balls of trauma sometimes. Our ego is designed to keep us alive. And thank you, ego, which is a persona that lives in all of us that has kept us alive. Um, However, what happens is we correct our behavior slightly to make sure that one negative instance never happens again. And that becomes part of our symptomology, and we put that together in our ego. And so, okay, anytime anyone says anything like this, then I react this way. And so you kind of, anxiety is a liar and will tell you that you need to live your life in such a narrow, small way to stay safe. And before long, you can't leave the house because of anxiety, because everything can potentially be a trigger. And so that is where sitting with uncertainty, sitting with anxiety, feeling where it starts in your body, and resolving the trauma and some of the wounds that uh, created the structure in which, for whatever is happening, that is impacting you. And this can be said for anxiety. OCD as an anxiety disorder. PTSD has anxiety in it, and then intrusive thoughts of any variety. You are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are just coming back around in your awareness. And the more that you pay attention to those negative thought patterns, the more your body thinks that this is an important thing to pay attention to. So it keeps bringing it back around in your awareness. And so, some Eastern cultures and anyone that's done any meditation or mindfulness will know that once you have a higher level of awareness, you can actually, I call it a like awareness gap. I call it a healing gap, an awareness gap. That awareness gap can tell you, okay, you are not your thoughts. You are the one that is aware of the thoughts. You are the unchanging awareness and observer of the thoughts. But the thoughts are changing, just like every experience is changing. So it means that you are not your thoughts. Your thoughts are just coming back around because you keep paying attention to them, and then your body automatically responds with anxious symptoms, which could be digestion, heart palpitations, sweatiness, shakiness, scared, fear, froze, those kinds of symptoms, avoiding, overdoing everything, keeping everything safe. Um, so that is limiting your experience because you're paying attention so much so to that thought, but that thought is not real because it's just coming back around. It's not a real thing, which is hard, really, really hard, and you don't get it until you get it. Like it doesn't click until it starts to click. I had to hear this for I don't know 30 years before I was like, oh, okay, yes, I am now ready to receive that information and apply that to my life. So you're not ready until you're ready for it. Other roots of anxiety can be gut infections, IBS or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, thyroid, hormones, food sensitivities, your adrenals, lack of movement. It could be nutrient imbalances or deficiencies. Um, like I said, it could be trauma. I'm looking at a list here. Hormone imbalances, um, chronic medical issues. There's a lot of medical conditions that anxiety just comes along for the ride. Sleep disorders, genetic mutations like MTHFR, or medications that you genetically can't metabolize. And that's another set of genetic mutations. So maybe you'll get put on medication and get worse and have adverse symptoms. That's a big clue that your genetics are there to play. It's not the medication, because they already do check that. Um, and if you always respond negatively to anti-anxiety medication, that is a big clue for that. Autoimmune conditions, the medical model, certainly I talk about medical PTSD when you're invalidated and treated as if you're hysterical. This is another, it just kind of re traumatizes and makes individuals anxious, but that doesn't mean that you don't go seek uh, healthcare. It just means that you're going to have to advocate for yourself. So that's something that I work with clients with self advocacy, learning how to get the most out of your healthcare dollars by speaking your truth. Um, and with that, I think a lot of people put me in the camp of being holistic, and I am, but I also am innovative and alternative and use precision medicine and a whole other, everything's a tool for me there. And a lot of people, they just feel like they're stuck in a box. I take medication, so I can't use holistic tools. No, you can use both. You can use all of the above. That's what I'm here to really shake into your awareness, to say, no, write your own wellness plan that includes all of the things that you need for you. So uh, you can meditate, and then you can use medications. You can use yoga, and then find other ways. And so adding in a holistic or integrative health practitioner to your team is a really smart move, as far as putting together all of the pieces. And so, as an integrative health practitioner, I'm talking about the mental, physical, and spiritual symptoms that come about. Some are the mental symptoms that can come about are the trauma, or the root causes. Excuse me. reverse. Let's go back. If I was going to edit this, I would go back. So the root symptoms of a medical variety could be gut infections, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, other chronic conditions, thyroid hormones, uh, food. I'm going to put that in that camp. The mental root causes could be unresolved trauma, a lack of a higher level of awareness, practice that's needed to get you a step beyond your thoughts to not identify with the thoughts. And then a spiritual symptom could be your thoughts, while untrue, and you can unsubscribe from a thank you next scenario. They could be calling out for a change. They could be, well, I'm having a lot of anxiety when I go to work. Well, what's going on at work? Oh, my job is really stressful. I work 60 hours a week. I'm away from my kids and I hate it. My boss is the worst. And I don't feel, I always wanted to go and do this other thing. And so you're anxious then. You don't have anxiety. You need a change. Uh, your body is calling for a change and it's been telling you this. So lack of purpose and meaning and honoring your boundaries and self-care could be a spiritual symptom. So the thoughts of anxiety aren't real, but the symptom of having anxiety could be trigger you to doing something about it for a change. So the content of anxiety might not be real. What we do when working with integrative health practitioner or counselor or anyone that's holistic and working more on the mental health and the mindset piece is getting underneath those thoughts, getting underneath and then having in a practice or awareness that gets you above the thoughts so that you can observe the thoughts from a higher stance, and to see that you are not your thoughts and your thoughts are just kind of circling back around because you are paying a lot of attention. You're investing a lot of time and energy, and your body is symptomatically responding to the thoughts that you're having. You're not your thoughts. Your thoughts are just coming into your awareness, because the ego and your persona that was put together to keep you safe all of these years, you've kept responding to those thoughts. So there's a lot of holistic tools that you can use. And there's a lot of holistic um, herbs and supplements that you can use. I'm going to throw out a couple. Please check with other medications that you're taking and seek medical advice with these. Valerian, you can use this at night to help you sleep, and it's great for anxiety and OCD and to get restful sleep. Ashwagandha is the same. It's great for stress and anxiety, and it's also great for fertility as well. Rhodiola is the same too. Rhodiola is also good for depression, fatigue, and exercise intolerance. Lavender as an essential oil is a really grounding scent and an herb and something that is calming. There's purple in the background. There's a reason that I have that and showing that to you today. It's just kind of a really calming herb and color. And it's a good reminder to get back into the breath. Lemon balm is great. Lemon balm tea is really, really great. You can actually use lemon balm in pregnancy for anxiety because there's a lot of meds and supplements and herbs and things that just are in a category that's unsafe for pregnancy. So I wanted to throw that one in there. Bacopa is great. Also helps with mental focus. And then kava kava. Kava kava is actually the only one on the list that I have not used, although I've used it in a blend of a supplement. I'm an experiential coach and practitioner. And so the things that I recommend are the things that I do use. Valerian also is good for OCD. Other things that are great for OCD are N-acetylcysteine, NAC, N-acetyl, as well, that are holistic to, again, check your meds, check. Some of these things are contraindicated with one another, and there is not a precision medicine panel that includes a lot of supplements. And so you're going to want to read about the interactions between any other medications that you're taking, especially any mental health psych medications as well. But there's medicine in the food, and there's medicine in plants and herbs. And so there's a reason that they are here with us humans on Earth. And there are reasons that nobody can make a lot of money off of. I mean, are lavender farmers getting rich? I don't know, probably not. Uh, but there's a reason. I am a former and reformed pharmaceutical representative, and I am repenting and for my time spent there. No, I'm just kidding. When I learned about how the funding streams work, I had to get out, um, and have dedicated the rest of my life to fixing a broken healthcare system, and in a variety of ways, and trying to fit in the gaps of things that nobody wants to talk about, areas that are not highlighted for healing, things that worked for me, things that have little research but should have more. But because of funding streams, there's a little research, like the lavender farmers. Not a lot of people are spending a lot of money on investing in lavender farms because of the how we are financially incentivized. So always look at the funding streams, and that's why there's a lack of research. And I'm coming at you as an actual researcher, and I'm telling you that there's a reason why there's not a lot of research in some of this area, and that's why I self-fund the research that I do. Meaning self-fund is bootstrapping like no one's business, like moving, and putting it out there just to put it out there, and because I believe in that. So finally, anxiety can be a radical tool to awaken you to change. It can be a radical tool to take care of yourself. It can be a radical tool to lend or to lean into taking care of some unmet needs in your body, in your mind, in your spirit. You could be in the midst of a spiritual awakening. You could be in the dark night of the soul scenario. You're going to have anxiety with that for sure. It can be a great tool to let in more awareness. The reason that I'm healed is because I had a high level of anxiety, so much so that I had to go way, way, way outside the box to put together what fit for me. So the next move for you is whatever is calling out to you. It'll be what's coming in your awareness, depending on what level of fear you have. If you're living in a state of constant fear, you're going to be getting fearful things coming to you in your awareness. At the root of all things, we are love. And to let in more love, you actually have to face your fears. And to sit with it. And through sitting with anxieties, through sitting with panic, through sitting with intrusive thoughts, and feeling how that feels in your body can be an entry point to breaking the cycle. And the more that you allow yourself to feel uncomfortable feelings, you feel like a badass ninja because you can face anything. Like there's not lions out there attacking you, but maybe your brain or thoughts are tormenting you, and just sit with that. Sit with it and allow your mantra could be, I can do hard things. Um, I can sit with uncertainty. I have lived 100 hard days before and made it through. Creating a mantra, um, whether through meditation or yoga or journaling or just right here, right now, or writing it out and visualizing. This is where future self journaling, journaling in general, your emotions and experiencing. We are a society that has been told to repress our emotions, and they're staying internally. And we're really good at having high functioning anxiety and not freaking out in public. However, internally, just being miserable. And I'm asking you to sit with it, because once you start to sit with it, you start to realize that it'll go from a level 10 or like a red, like a high level threat scenario. And when after time, I'm not going to put a time limit on it, because someone will say, oh, she said this length of time and it didn't resolve in this length of time. And so it's not going to work. Whatever length of time that you need to sit with it, and you do that length of time that you need to do that, and however many times a day that you need to do it, could be, I don't know, 1,000, maybe, let's just say 1,000. And you sit with that, your body is going to eventually, through practice, start to self-regulate itself. I have used some tools, DNRS, with clients, which is a brain retraining program, neuroplasticity. There's a lot of other ways that you can do it. Like I said, um, there's reparenting, there's inner child work, there's shadow work. There's so many different things that I've used with clients. Um, there is spiritual work, there journaling, getting in your body, dancing, movement, yoga, mind body practices, breath work, those kinds of things. There's no quick fix with anxiety. So if your entry point is medication, what else are you going to do? What are you going to use? I found that alternative nostril breathing, yogic breath is really, really great. Starting with the left nostril, at rescue CPR, panic attacks, grounding is really good. Carrying lavender essential oil is really good to breathe in. Trying some herbs if it's beneficial for whatever you're taking, or if you're taking anything. Getting support, finally, I'll leave you there. Getting support, reaching out. You were never meant to do this alone. You do not have to suffer in silence. Suffering can be the biggest and best gift for awakening into our purpose and meaning and to move on. At some point, you get to the point of, I am not going to live like this anymore. And you surrender and you do the work internally to heal. That is why you are here. It's not your job, it's not your family, it's not your title. The work is an inside job to heal yourself. Once you heal yourself, you heal the world because you are operating as a whole person, being, and you are in the embodiment of love. And you're walking around not as a ball of trauma and an ego construct persona that is mad at the world and anxious and scared and living the small, narrow path, but you are open, your heart's open, and you're ready. You're ready to play this game that we call life. You're ready to fully show up. And you can and should still show up even with anxious symptoms. Go and do the reverse of what anxiety is telling you. Do the exact worst, not worse, do the exact opposite. This can come, I do work with clients to write a life mission statement, and we work on values and meaning because it comes with radical life acceptance of yourself and who you are. I have anxious symptoms. I am still a badass with anxious symptoms. I still accept myself and my life is still valuable. Guess what? The universe needed you so much that you were here on this planet right here, right now. We That is an amazing thing. And we are so lucky to be alive right now because you are so needed, because you exist right here, right now. The past doesn't exist. The, the future doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is right now. So when you can stop the stories of a scary future and start to visualize and future self journal yourself into living your highest truth with full vitality, that changes your awareness, and everything you subconsciously seek out in the environment is going to live up to your new beliefs. That is dope. That's neuroplasticity 101. That's how you change your whole life experience, by hacking your thoughts, unsubscribing from the ones that are coming about that are scaring the shit out of you, and creating a new dialogue and a new experience. Your brain doesn't know the difference between a real experience and a fake scary one that your brain is creating. And so you may as well create an experience where you're a badass and you're killing it and crushing it. So if you visualize that and journal about it, your brain is gonna auto correct itself subconsciously and seek out things in the environment that are leading you down that healing path. That's the secret sauce to this whole healing work. That's what everyone out here in the self healers movement and the holistic movement, that's what we're all been saying. Jesus and the Buddha, they said the same thing. Stay in the present, stay now. The only thing that exists, eternal life, is in the now. It takes a while to be able to hear it. And I'm speaking my truth, and it took me as long as it took to hear it. And once you hear it, you can't unknow it. Once you know, you can't unknow it. And whatever is calling out to you as the next move on your healing journey, that's your next move. Don't listen to anyone else. Doesn't matter what's working for your neighbor, your friend, your coworker, this, that, or the other. Doesn't matter. The next move, they're not living your life. They don't have your unique situation. Don't listen to anything that I say. If the next move, if I haven't said anything that is anything to do with your next move, go and do that. Start trusting your gut and your intuition. That's the truth. That's your truth, not these intrusive trauma balls that keep winding themselves around and try to get you to pay attention to it so you don't pay attention to the eternal now. That's the secret sauce here, to stay present, to sit with it. Once you sit with it, you release the grips and you learn how to breathe into your body. You get some tools in your tool belt. Maybe it's a little valerian situation. Maybe it's a lavender. Maybe it's a medication. Maybe it's meditation. Maybe it's a counselor. Maybe it's a coach. Maybe it's talking to someone that has lived. I don't know. Maybe it's changing your food. Maybe it's changing your maybe it's getting hormones looked at. Maybe it's getting a complete thyroid panel. I don't know. I don't know what it is for you, but I am throwing out all of the common things that it could be that I have seen. There are others, but that's the work of an integrative health practitioner or someone who's holistic. That's the work that we do. We look at the whole thing, the whole enchilada, your whole scenario, your relationships, your career, your family, your kids, the whole thing. We get everybody on board. We collaborate. And it's transformative to have that space and to be able to have an outside perspective and a teammate to partner with you as you both look for the next move for your healing journey. I've hired coaches along my healing journey, and it was the best money I've ever invested. My clients are in 2-3 months, they will heal rapidly in what would take 20, 30 years in 2 months because they're investing in themselves. They're showing up, they're doing the work, we're troubleshooting together, and they're not waiting. They're not waiting they're not waiting for wholeness at some future point in time that doesn't exist because the only thing that exists now, they're doing the work right now. And so, what am I selling to you? Wholeness right now. And I know it's a tough pill to swallow because I'm not offering a quick fix. There's no slogan. I've got no cute mascot that says, sit with it and pay attention to your body and feel hard things. Like everybody wants that quick fix because their society has been lying to you, essentially. Like, this is the next, if you lose 20 pounds, you're going to love yourself. Guess what? I lost the 20 pounds and you still have to deal with the inside work. The outside can look great, but if the inside's a mess, then you may as well have not done that external work. But once you do the internal work, the external reflects that. And so that's where I start there. Start internally. And then everything else will express itself externally, including your environment, because your brain has changed and you're not seeking out being the victim or being scared. You are loving people and wanting to connect with them and wanting to show up for life and doing it as a whole person. And then everyone that you touch is also impacted by you not being a hot mess. And so I laugh at my own jokes. Somebody has to. Thank you guys for watching these videos. Please share. I am trying to grow the business, looking for referrals all the time. I do free 15-minute consults. If you're not a good fit, I'll send you a referral source or information to somebody who is. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I love doing them because they allow me a sacred space to provide information that I wanted and desperately needed along my healing journey. And nobody was shooting me straight. And I came across a couple practitioners or individuals along the way where they got it, and so I want to fully show up for my clients and get them. And so that's why I believe my clients are the experts in themselves, and I'm just walking for a short leg of the journey right next to them and showing up as the embodiment of who I definitely needed along my healing journey, along with the research and putting it all together for other folks that they don't have that, or they're looking for that, or that's their next move, or. There's no one way to roam. There's no one road to roam. There's many roads, there's many avenues. Whatever's your next move is the universe's way of nudging you right along. Even if it's a breakdown, it's all part of it. It's beautiful on the other side. Once you get there, it doesn't make a lot of sense until you get there. But I'm not going to throw people into the river. I'm trying to build a bridge and help people along, and not letting people get lost and go downstream. And once you get to the other side, it's very beautiful, and you understand everything that went on as how you couldn't cross and get across and what you need to get across. It all makes sense. Um, and that we're here just learning lessons. And the only work that we're here to do is to heal ourselves. And that's how you heal the world. You go internal. Anything else isn't going to get you there. And it could be a numbing tool by not doing the internal work. That is something that I have learned about myself. So I'm sharing it with you all. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Goodbye.